George Lucas is back, and apparently he's directing the new Obi Wan Kenobi movie by Disney. In other news, a new Alien game is coming. The Venom movie has broken $800 million US gross, and also Black Ops 4 sales, Japanese snow crabs, and Michelin star ramen. Oh, and also the key to life has been discovered in China. I'm Johnny Massacre, and this is the Johnny Massacre Show. Hello people, how are you doing? It is Monday in Tokyo. It's about 6 p.m. and I'm feeling so fucked up. I will tell you all about it later on. But first, we need to get to what the fuck is going on in the world. That's why you came here, right? Well, apparently, George Lucas is directing the Obi Wan Kenobi spin-off for Star Wars by Disney. And I'm really not sure how to feel about this. Some of you people watching might have subscribed because you saw my very angry rant and review of The Last Jedi, the last Star Wars movie, and also the one before, Force Awakens. So, I'm in two minds. One mind says that anything getting away from this new style of Star Wars that's basically been created by a load of SJW wankers is good. However, my other mind says, well, George Lucas has already directed 3 sequels or prequels to Star Wars, and they were fucking horrible. And just because they're, I guess, better by comparison to the new Star Wars, it doesn't mean we want to see any more of that shit. The prequels were famously awful, so I don't have a lot of faith in George Lucas to really make anything good anymore. Every great franchise, every great series has its day, and when you start flogging the dead horse, it invariably becomes weak, and that's what's happened with Star Wars. I just think there isn't anyone out there who can sort it out. Ben Shapiro over at the Daily Wire had a good idea, and he was saying that they need to retcon some stuff, and I think we're kind of at that stage where in order for Star Wars to be good, we need to just gloss over the recent canon from episodes 7 and 8 because it's fucked up the Star Wars universe so badly. Skywalker has been turned into a complete wanker. He went through the most epic journey in all of Hollywood to prove himself as a man and as a good person. He rejected the dark side at the end of The Last Jedi. So to turn him into a snivelling old coward who's really resentful is just such a kick in the balls to Star Wars in general. So I think we need some form of retconning. We have to sort this mess out. But yeah, apparently George Lucas is going to be coming back. I actually can't even believe this news. Hopefully, if this is the case, he's coming back on Disney's terms. I can't believe I'm saying this, but George Lucas not being able to go up his own arse and not having anyone challenge him is probably what made the prequels so bad. So if he comes back, I hope he has to kind of work with other people more and not just be given free roam to do whatever he wants. Let's have a look at this article on movieweb.com. George Lucas to shoot Obi Wan Kenobi movie in Northern Ireland next year, it asks. What is going on here? This is potentially huge news if true. Former Foreign Secretary Boris Johnson announced during a speech at the DUP conference this weekend that George Lucas is making the Obi Wan Kenobi movie and that he will shoot it in Northern Ireland sometime in 2019. Here is what the man had to say during his speech. Which was the biggest grossing movie last year? Star Wars. And where does George Lucas propose to make a follow-up about Obi Wan Kenobi? Northern Ireland. This news is quickly sending shockwaves through the fan community, But does it make any sense? Why would former Mayor Boris Johnson announce to a room full of people that George Lucas is making a Star Wars movie in Northern Ireland? Many suspect that this is a huge secret Disney and Lucasfilm have been holding onto as they course correct the franchise by bringing the man who created it all back into the fold. Others suspect that Johnson maybe doesn't know that George Lucas sold Star Wars and Lucasfilm to Disney way back in 2012. It's also possible that Johnson is referring to movement on the Obi Wan Kenobi movie before the whole thing was shuttered earlier this summer. So, okay, maybe this politician, Boris Johnson, is just talking out of his ass. The article continues, after the financial disaster that was Solo, Disney announced it was halting all of the standalone movies it was currently planning. This included the Obi Wan Kenobi movie. Before Solo crumbled at the box office, the big rumor was that Obi Wan Kenobi was going to start shooting in spring 2019. So, okay. After many fans rallied against The Last Jedi, there's been much speculation and rumor that George Lucas would return to rescue his baby. And a lot of fans want to see that happen. 2019 will be a time of rectifying and fixing what many believe is a broken universe at this point, which is exactly what I just said. And that all begins with the release of Star Wars 9 in December 2019. They're not going to be able to fix that. Is it possible that one of the ways Lucasfilm is planning to fix things is with the Obi-Wan Kenobi movie starring Ewan McGregor and directed by George Lucas, just like all three of the prequels? Many fans think it's a great idea. I don't think it's a great idea. The prequels were horrible. They were so bad. So why go back to the director who made all three of them and the actor who was in all of them, I guess, Ewan McGregor? It's just not a good idea. Some believe that the Obi-Wan Kenobi movie is still being planned, only that it will be made exclusively for Disney's new streaming service, Disney Plus. Whoop-de-fucking-do. The article continues. It was reported way back in February of this year that George Lucas may be returning to Star Wars to direct Obi-Wan Kenobi. There are noted reports that George Lucas was scouting locations in Belfast for Obi-Wan and that he was heavily involved with the production, whether he was directing it himself or just overseeing the project and acting as a consultant. Which is interesting because George Lucas actually came out and said that Disney threw away all of his plans and rough script for Star Wars 7, 8 and 9. The article concludes, it's possible that Boris Johnson is just taking what he knew was happening before Solo and reporting that, or possibly the Obi-Wan Kenobi movie is really truly happening sooner than anyone thought, and that George Lucas is definitely on board. If that's the case, we're sure Disney and Lucasfilm do not appreciate this former mayor blurting out these plans a bit prematurely. However it all plays out, you can check out the man's full speech from this weekend at The Spectator. If what Boris Johnson says is true, then we can expect this to be one of the biggest announcements at next year's Star Wars celebration. We're sure they won't confirm anything before that. That's the problem. Us Star Wars fans are always led down the garden path. Even though I hated Force Awakens and hated The Last Jedi, I'm still interested in the prospect of another Star Wars movie like Obi-Wan Kenobi, even if it's directed by George Lucas. I guess my feeling is fuck it. Give him one more chance. He's had a lot of time to reflect on the prequels. He is also responsible for the original classic movies. So give him one more fucking chance. Give Lucas one more chance. Make sure his power's in check. Make sure he can only sign on if he agrees to work under a few people. He'll have to keep his ego in check. He has a massive ego. I remember watching his commentary on the production of the prequels, and he said, some directors shoot the movie. I shoot around the movie, which doesn't make any sense. And he loves himself. He loves himself. But I love myself too, so I've got time for George Lucas. You made the originals. Give him one more chance, I say. What do you know about this? Any Star Wars nuts out there who have a little bit more information they can shed on this? I'm kind of hoping it's true in a weird sort of way. Okay, in other news, apparently a new Alien game is coming. So Aliens is definitely in my top 5 movies of all time, probably top 3. Aliens and Blade Runner, it's a very difficult toss-up between those two movies. Aliens could actually be my favourite of all time. So I know a little bit about the franchise, and there's always Aliens games coming out, right? There will always be Aliens games, even though it becomes more and more niche as the original classic movies kind of fade into history and the new movies are all shit. I do think the fan base must be waning, but it's obviously very strong. Aliens is are examples of some of the most classic movies in Hollywood and franchises ever made. So, of course, I search for Aliens now and again, and it turns out there might be a new Aliens game coming. There have been some pretty shitty Alien games in recent times, with the exception of Alien Isolation. The one before that, I think it was Colonial Marines. That's famous for having looked incredible in demos and shit. And then when they released it, it was fucking awful. It's famous for being one of the most... for a game release being furthest from what people initially thought it would be. Looked amazing and ended up shit. So Aliens haven't really been having a good run in the video game world or the movie world since the original couple of films. However, as I said, Alien Isolation was the last Aliens game, and that was good. So the prospect of another one could be decent. Check out this rumor, this news that I found online. It says 20th Century Fox trademarks Alien Blackout for video games. So that's probably going to be the name of the next Alien game. Alien Blackout. So perhaps it doesn't say aliens in the title, suggesting that it's again just going to be one alien roaming around. We'll have to see. 20th Century Fox has trademarked Alien Blackout use computer game disc software, namely game software. The Game Awards host, Jeff Keighley. Jeff Keighley was this guy, I think he was behind Game Trailers before that website went bust, which was really good, but he's like the worst host ever. He's this sniveling nerd. Again, he's got a bit of an ego. There's a video of him online having this argument with another YouTuber. I think it's Angry Joe, and he comes off as so slimy and kind of smarmy and sleazy and shit. I don't like Jeff Keighley. Don't like his face. Anyways, that guy, he posted a teaser image, thanks Jeff, via Twitter that has the words "Worlds will change" and a W in the upper left corner that is similar to the Weyland-Yutani Corporation of the Alien franchise. So the W in this image actually is nothing like... I shouldn't really move the mic. I can't really because my fucking cable's going to come down. But on that shot, oh fuck it, I'll fucking move it. See that logo? That's the logo they're talking about. That the Weyland's Yutani logo. Let me just fix my fucking mic cable. And that is not on the game announcement, which is a little bit weird because it probably should be. I knew I shouldn't have fucking moved this mic. Don't be a cunt. Fuck it. You're just going to have a mic cable in the way for the rest of the show. So anyways, yeah, that logo's not in the image. Have a look one more time at the image. See, the W is different. But anyways, this blatantly is Aliens. This font is Aliens straight up and down, I promise you. And yeah, so the article says it's possible the game is a sequel to Alien Isolation. An official announcement will likely happen at the Game Awards 2018 on December the 6th. So we will wait another week or so until December the 6th to find out what this new Aliens game is, or Alien game. I really hope it's like Aliens, the sequel to Alien, where there's lots of guns and carnage and destruction. We're all owed a game like that. You know, every time I play a great first-person shooter, like Halo 5, that was great. It was good. And like Rainbow Six Siege, I always think, wow, imagine these developers basically made this same kind of game, but in the Aliens world. Oh my God, that's what I'm waiting for. The guns from Aliens, the creatures and aliens from Aliens and so on, made by a great developer in a kind of first-person shooter. That would be amazing. We can only hope. But as I said, the franchise is kind of fading a bit because it's just disappearing into history, and all the new stuff is a bit crap from Aliens in terms of movies and games and whatever else. In other news, the Venom movie is fucking smashing it. It has broken $800 million US gross, which is just incredible, really. I think the budget was a little over 100 million, and they had to make about $450 million, I believe, in order to properly break even. And they have done that and then some. They've absolutely smashed it. So we're definitely going to be getting a Venom sequel. And you might have seen my Venom review recently. If you haven't, check it out on my channel. You can see it. there. I quite liked it. I thought the script was poor, the story was poor, but Tom Hardy's performance was amazing, and the portrayal of Venom, while I didn't like the CGI, the way it moved, they had it bang on. So I would quite like to see a sequel, actually, and hopefully it will have a much better story. Screen Rant tells us as much. They say Venom movie passes 800 million worldwide, outgrossing Wonder Woman. So yeah, that's just a little bit of information I wanted to share with you. I know some of you who follow my show are fans of the movie, so that should kind of that should tickle your fancy. Other news: Black Ops 4 sales. This is kind of interesting. I just want to bring this up quickly. So as you all know, Call of Duty sells a lot of copies, but even though it sold a lot of copies recently, it is a shadow of the sales of some of the former games. So make of that what you will. On VG Charts, which is one of my favorite websites, it tells us Call of Duty Black Ops 4 sells an estimated 3.68 million units in 2 days at retail. So that is a shitload of games. But look at this. Here is how the first week sales of Call of Duty Black Ops 4 compares to the first week sales of previous games in the franchise. So here we are at number 9. It's only number 9 in the ranking of most games sold within a week for Call of Duty, at 3.68 million. Number 1, Call of Duty Black Ops 2, 12.23 million. So that sold nearly 4 times as much. So what is the deal with this? Are video game sales decreasing, or are people just getting a little bit sick of the same title coming out again and again and again? Answers in the comments. In other news, Japanese fucking snow crabs. So yeah, I live in Japan, so I'm going to tell you about weird Japanese news you might not get on your shores. So look at this motherfucker. He's got a huge ass crab. That's an ugly fucking crab. And that particular crab in the picture has been recognized by Guinness as getting the most expensive bid ever. So Japan Today tells us a snow crab caught in Western Japan prefecture of Tottori earlier this month has been recognized by Guinness World Records as receiving the most expensive ever bid for a crab at auction, the prefectural government said. The crab, which sold for 2 million yen or $17,700, was caught in the port of Tottori City on November the 7th and had already been determined to be an Itsukiboshi high-end crab with its 14.6 centimeter shell and weight of 1.28 kilograms. A crab is determined to be worthy of the top label based on size, weight, shape, color, and amount of meat. I don't know in other countries if they rank food on color, but Japan is so obsessed with detail that they do, and that's probably one of the reasons why food tastes so fucking good out here, because people just take it so damn seriously. The bidder was Tetsuji Hamashita, a fishmonger. The crab had been gifted alive to a crab exhibition in the city. I hope everyone will remember the 2 million yen crab and come visit our prefecture, said Tottori government Shinji Hirai. Tottori is also famous for dealing in fighting cockerels. At this local yakitori restaurant that I love on my street, best food I've ever tasted, it sells Tottori chickens, fighting chickens known as the shamo. So Tottori, not only do they have fucking bad boy chickens, but they've got bad boy snow crabs as well. Okay, more news coming thick and fast. Michelin star ramen. So I like this story. You know the Michelin star restaurants that are very unlikely contenders? They're in the middle of nowhere and they never set out to get a Michelin star, and they probably never even heard of the Michelin ranking until the fucking Michelin motherfuckers came down and slapped a star on their faces. Well, there's one in Japan. So this guy has an automobile service. He's just a car dealer, and he started his business in 2002, 16 years ago, and he just decided to make ramen on the side, and he said he uses all natural ingredients, and he made it to just enrich kids' lives and make the local kids healthy, because obviously these communities, there's a lot of families out living in the sticks, in the boonies, whatever you want to call it. And so that guy's got a fucking Michelin star. I thought this was quite a nice story, especially for people who was really, really focused on getting awards and being number one and all this stuff. It's a good thing to see people like this who are quite humble and unassuming, who will actually become number one without these kind of self-aggrandizing schemes and dreams and what have you. So look, this is the humble guy. He's got a fucking Michelin star on his ramen. Michelin Guide praises used car lot in Tottori for its tasty ramen. Oh my god, Tottori is on the fucking map. Tasty chicken, tasty snow crabs, and now tasty motherfucking ramen. Would you believe it? What a coincidence. So here's the guy in question. The hot air used car dealership in Tottori offers ramen cooked by its owner, Katsumi Yoshida. Yoshida says he'll continue selling both noodles and automobiles, says the article. Again, this is on Asahi.com. Started by a French tyre maker, the Michelin Guide seemingly took a wrong turn in including a used car dealer here in its latest edition on the top eateries in Kyoto, Osaka, and Tottori. Indeed, at Hot Air, a sign shows Alto, Wagon R, Swift, and other names of vehicles just like other used car dealerships. However, a banner offering ramen stands modestly beside the sign. Katsumi Yoshida, 53, opened Hot Air in 2002 after working at another automobile dealer in Tottori. While running his used car business, Yoshida also worked intently to cook meals free from artificial additives so he could serve quality food to children. He felt so much confidence in his skills to make dashi stock that he offered his ramen at a local festival, winning high praise. So I just think this is nuts. His wife is a good wife. She says he, Yoshida, has groundless confidence that all things must go well, and I had no choice but to go along with him, said Yoshida's wife, Kaori, 51, who helps manage Hot Air. Not mimicking the cooking of other ramen chefs, Yoshida repeatedly changed the recipe to achieve his ideal broth. He combined locally produced chicken bones with dried small sardines and other ingredients. As Yoshida deemed the importance of harmony of all the ingredients, he did not let any one ingredient dominate. Yoshida also used a digital thermometer and scale to make adjustments as small as 1 degree or 0.1 grams. Due to those efforts, the eatery's reputation spread by word of mouth, resulting in a growing number of customers. Kazumi Kuramitsu, 68, said he frequents Hot Air for its ramen. The flavor is not too strong and it is easy to eat, he said. To be honest, I do not like ramen, but I can easily eat it here. This is nuts. So yeah, head to Hot Air in Tottori for some very, very obscure ramen. Here's a picture of him actually cooking it in the kitchen. And I kind of love this, the way some people blatantly don't have any kind of formal training for cooking. And for that reason, they see things outside of the box and they'll create something that's outside of the rule book. And I think this guy's done it. It says also in this article that the stock has a chicken base, and that's very, very rare for ramen indeed. There's actually a little video here if you want to have a look at it. This is the unassuming place with a Michelin star, which is just insane. And you can see inside the restaurant there. And that is a typical looking ramen with a nice piece of fatty meat on the top. Some old geezer is eating it here, slurping it. In Japan, slurping your noodles is not rude. And yeah, there you can see the neighbouring cars also being sold on the lot. And this is the guy in question. And look, he's got his digital scales, taking great care in what he's doing. And there he is cooking the ramen. Is that making you hungry? I bet it is. Oh, I'm getting a phone call. So, hold on a minute. I'm busy. I'll call you back, yeah? I'm busy. I'll call you back. Okay. That leads nicely onto the section about my life for this show, because my girlfriend is doing some crazy shit at the moment. I will tell you all about that. But, yeah, finally for today, the meaning of life has been found in China, apparently. So, this news kind of blindsided me. I got this really at the last minute. Is this breaking news? I guess it is. So look at this shit, people. Bloomberg.com says world's first genetically edited babies claimed in China. This has serious moral and ethical and scientific implications for the whole world, possibly. A Chinese researcher claims that he helped make the world's first genetically edited babies, twin girls born this month whose DNA he said altered with a powerful new tool capable of rewriting the very blueprint of life. If true, it would be a profound leap of science and ethics. A US scientist said he took part in the work in China, but this kind of gene editing is banned in the United States because the DNA changes can pass to future generations and it risks harming other genes. For example, we could basically be wiped out by diseases if we start artificially evolving the human race. Who knows how that's going to affect our immune systems. Many mainstream scientists think it's too unsafe to try this, and some denounce the Chinese report as human experimentation. The researcher He Xiankui of Shenzhen said he altered embryos for 7 couples during fertility treatments, with 1 pregnancy resulting thus far. He said his goal was not to cure or prevent an inherited disease, but to try to bestow a trait that few people naturally have, an ability to resist possible future infection with HIV, the AIDS virus. He said the parents involved declined to be identified or interviewed, and he would not say where they live or where the work was done. There is no independent confirmation of Hayes' claim, and it has not been published in a journal where would be vetted by other experts. He revealed it Monday in Hong Kong to one of the organisers of an international conference on gene editing that is set to begin Tuesday, and earlier in exclusive interviews with the Associated Press. So obviously, I'm sure there's a lot of scientists around the world who would love to claim this as their own discovery, to be the first person to genetically modify humans. This is a very fucking deep area of discussion. I was chatting about this the other day to someone, and it's a conversation that can last for hours about the morals, about humans playing God, about the existence of God, and whether and if God does exist, how that affects the moral conundrum of this kind of discovery. And even if God doesn't exist, is it still an ethical thing to do? Is it a right thing to do? Is it a wrong thing to do? And then, of course, you've got all the risks, such as diseases and just upsetting evolution. Were humans designed to do this stuff? That is the question. Were humans designed to design themselves, to break the trend in the animal kingdom whereby a species' fate is basically determined exclusively by the natural environment, as opposed to the species itself? It is a fucking bizarre problem. But I'm interested to see where this goes. What do you think about this? Is it right to genetically modify human embryos? Right, that's enough chit chat about what's going on in the world. Now, let's talk about my life. Right, I'm fucked up, man. I'm fucked up. I don't know what the fuck happened today, but I've been hitting the gym quite hard, and my God, it caught up with me today in a fashion that I've never experienced before. So when I do this one particular exercise day, it will fuck me up for days, right? So what I do is I run to my gym, which takes 40 minutes. Not super fast, but I run there at about... my heart's pumping at about 112 beats per minute. And then I will do 100 bench press, starting with the heaviest weight I can possibly do, which is 100 kilograms, then getting progressively lighter when each weight becomes too heavy to lift. And that basically ends with me doing 50 reps of 40 kilograms. So I start off with 100, work my way down to 40, do 100 in total. Then I do 3 rounds of intense kickboxing. And then I do some ab work, which takes about 15 minutes. I do 10 pull-ups before this all even fucking starts. And I do some leg exercises too. And then I fucking run home. And that fucks me up. Every time I've ever done this exercise day, it has brutalized me in a way that no other exercise has done. I've even ran for 3 hours before training for a marathon, and it did not fuck me up like this exercise day does. But yesterday was kind of even crazier because I pennyboarded to the gym. Basically, I skateboarded to the gym. And then on the way home, I went to this wholesale supermarket and bought all this fucking protein and chicken and shit and lugged it home in this massive bag on my skateboard. It was brutal. And the reason why this was particularly brutal was the day before, I'd also done some pretty hard exercise, and the day before that too. Since I got the flu about a month ago, I've been working my way back to a 6 to 7 day exercise a week schedule. And yesterday was the point where I had to push myself to try to go to the next level. When I woke up yesterday, I didn't want to go to the gym. It was one of those times when mentally it was more of an obstacle than physically. And I did actually feel physically tired as well, but mentally I didn't want to do it. I got on my skateboard. I was half asleep all the way on my skateboard to the gym. It took me an hour to wake up. And when I got there and started exercising, I fucking smashed it in the gym. So it's funny, it's ironic. Sometimes you really feel you can't manage going to the gym, but when you go, your performance is great, and vice versa. So other times you're kind of up for it, and then you do it and you fail. So it's very, very hard to know when you're really in the best possible condition to do hard exercise. The marriage of mental and physical obstacles together can create a lot of doubts and make your schedule difficult to finalize. So anyways, I did that. And I went back home, and my sleep schedule's been a bit fucked up recently. I've been sleeping just before the sun comes up, and waking up around midday, which I don't like. I like to wake up about 5 a.m, but I haven't for a while since the summer DJ season got fucked up my schedule. And so I went to bed, as I do when I do this heavy exercise, about 1 a.m, midnight, reasonable-ish time, about 1 a.m. And I woke up at fucking 6 because I was determined to get out of bed. And I woke up at 7, so I slept for 6 hours. I was fucked. I set a business meeting in the morning to talk about kind of my music plans and live performances and stuff. And I was meeting with some really fucking important people. I was out of it. I was completely fucking out of it. It wasn't that my eyes were closing, but my physically, my body was in a state of shock. It was telling me, get back in that fucking bed, you cunt, and fucking rest, because you just shocked the shit out of your system. And so I did that meeting, and I went back home, and I fucking just started gorging on food. In the summer, I was doing a 1 meal a day of kind of a certain calorie limit and exercise, and that's cool once the balance is all set. But doing like hardcore exercise and trying to do 1 meal a day and have a strict diet, man, that shit takes a lot of practice. So my body was not ready for this. So I was like gorging on food. My body was telling me, you've got to eat, you cunt. So then I went back to sleep. I slept for like 4 or 5 hours, having weird, like broken sleep. And I woken up and I'm still in a weird state of mind. I feel lightheaded. I find it shaky walking and shit. And so I have abused the fuck out of myself in the gym. Today is definitely a day off, although I might go for a light run. But I feel like Tom Hardy in Venom, when he's descending into Venom and he's kind of staggering around and he's not all there. It's just, I don't even know what the fuck is going on. So yeah, my phone rang earlier. So that's basically my girlfriend. She's obsessed with Bon Jovi. She's kind of... Bon Jovi has older fans because the band was popular in the 80s, I guess, and 90s, I think. So she's like 21, and that means that she's really unique. When she goes, she went to the airport to meet the band and shit. And when she goes, she gets all the attention, gets interviewed on TV and stuff because she's hot and she's young, which is not like most fans. And all the other female fans, they're like, have a problem with my girlfriend because they go there to feel young again. And when they actually see someone young, it makes them resentful and makes them kind of stare in the face the fucking reality that they're getting on. They're old and they're not like that anymore. So anyway, Bon Jovi are fucking playing today. So she was calling me up because she's super excited. She's sending me pics of Bon Jovi. Her brother called me up and yeah, he's like saying they bought me a fucking t-shirt and got John Bon Jovi to sign it. So I'm getting some signed Bon Jovi stuff apparently. Yeah, so that's going on in my life. And I'm loving the community feature on YouTube. So now I can actually ask you for Johnny Massacre Show questions and receive them promptly. So let's go to the mailbox now. I've got some questions for you. So, okay. Jameson Smith, how did you get into music? Wow, good question. Okay. So I remember my mother teaching me to dance in my living room to various songs, including The Police, Message in a Bottle, stuff like that. That's my earliest memory of music, I guess. And the first CD I ever bought was the Spice Girls. I think I was fucking so young, and I bought that shit because they were hot. So that basically, later I got into underground music because at school drum and bass was the coolest thing and probably the most dangerous thing you could go and listen to. You'd have to go into rundown areas and shit. There was like stabbings and fights and stuff at these events, so it was really fun and kind of interesting at that time. So you can see the two sides of my musical path. One is this hardcore dark underground shit, and the other side is this light, sickly sweet kind of pop stuff. So that's why I strive to make myself dark and underground, but also have some kind of radio sensibility as well. And one of the most pivotal points was hanging out with my cousin. He was into hip hop and like Biggie Smalls and all that kind of stuff, and Snoop Dogg, and he exposed me to that. So yeah, that's how I got into music. My dad was a drummer when he was young as well. Okay, so next question from Pale Godwit. How big is Weeble's dick? Well, I will answer the question when you answer mine. Why do you want to know? Orion VA asks, any music projects you're working on? Yeah, quite a few. So I've got an album coming out next year. It's called I don't have a name for it yet, but it's the political album. Every artist has a political album. I'm going to talk about political shit, and it's going to be a lot. There's going to be a lot of trolling on there. I've also got another album coming out, which is going to be no politics at all, and just kind of bringing people up to date on what the fuck is going on in my life. So they're both hip hop albums, and I'm going to be releasing quite a lot of drum and bass stuff. I'm working on a song right now. I played it on Friday's Johnny Massacre show, and it's sounding shit hot. So I'm going to be grinding really, really hard on drum and bass and trying to break through into the drum and bass industry and at least have my tracks played at a few raves. The same guy asked, what's your most awkward high school moment? Fucking hell. Oh man, there's so fucking many. But I do remember when the head teacher basically kicked me out of the school. That was pretty fucking awkward, man. He did it in front of my mum and my dad. They were there as well. And then there was they had a massive fight with the head teacher, and eventually they let me stay. And I actually managed to pass the exams. That was pretty fucking awkward. These motherfuckers in my school couldn't understand, just because I never went to school, just because I was never there, and I found, music, drugs, and girls the most interesting thing in my life, doesn't mean that I'm not intelligent. It doesn't mean that I can't pass it. And basically, me passing the exams of school and university just goes to show you how flawed the system is. Because even if you never turn up and you don't really learn very much, it's still not too difficult to pass the exams just by asking other people, what's in the exam? Can you show me? And then just like memorizing it in a kind of photographic way. I just think the whole examination system, while it's obviously one of the best ways to judge someone's intelligence and capabilities, it is deeply flawed. And yeah, that was awkward back in the day, being asked to leave school. Yeah, pretty fucking awkward, I guess. Another awkward moment was I used to kind of do like lyrics, like as an MC at some events and shit for school. And I remember I had a song about some girls. There's one girl, I remember kind of fooling around with her, and she had hairy tits, I found out. She had like hair on her nipples. So being a little bastard, I remember getting on the mic and like making a whole song about her hairy tits, and then having them all confront me at a club maybe a few weeks later with very angry boyfriends trying to like punch me and stuff because of what I said to his girlfriend. And I think the song was in the vein of the No Pigeons song, which came from the No Scrubs song by TLC. And we used to call them the Pigeons, this group of girls, and one of which had the hairy tits. And it would be something like, no, I don't want no pigeons, them be the girls can't get no sex from me, sitting on the green all night with the diamond white, they got no ID. So I had all these fucking lyrics. I actually remember it. That's like the first lyric I ever wrote, was like a cuss for someone else. So yeah, that was pretty awkward, I guess. That's it for today's Johnny Massacre show. That was quite epic. I'm feeling fucked up. I got to just get on my grind, people. So yeah, thanks for tuning in, and I'll be seeing you tomorrow.